All right, let's get started. So let's come to a seat on the edge of a cushion or seat, wherever that is, even if it's on a chair. You can take a kneeling position or cross-legged, whatever's comfortable for you. And if you're cross-legged, take the most common cross and comfort level for you. Now we'll take the hands and rub them together. For that warmth, bring that warmth to your lower back. So take it to the sacrum area, lower back. Notice, and your elbows will be reaching behind you. That will open up that heart space in front, broaden the collarbones. And then you'll be able to feel if there's a curve in your lower back. And if there is not, then raise that blanket up a little bit higher so that you can elevate and really rise up taller through the spine. And then you can take the hands to the thighs and inhale as you reach the crown of the head up towards the sky. And as you exhale, notice that earth beneath you. So throughout our practice, feel that lengthening in the torso and the spine on your inhale and expansion. And on the exhale, feel the earth beneath you. So those hands to the thighs, we can close our eyes to cut out distractions and notice the breath. We'll do a breath scan right now. We got started a little late, so sorry about that. And thank you for your patience with our technical adjustments. Observe your breath for a few rounds. Non-judging. And then we'll come into conscious breath. I suggest what I call 4-2-6 breath. You can invite your inhale, filling the lungs front and back, all the way to the belly. And then on a 4 count, hold, and then hold a 2 count. And on an exhale, that's the 6 count. And this count can be on your rhythm. It doesn't have to be mine. But we inhale on a 4 count, hold on a 2 count, exhale on a 6 count, hold 2, inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6, hold 2, and then come back to that cycle. Rhythmic breath, lengthening the exhale, allowing for better expansion of the lungs and the diaphragm, the entire accessories of all the breathing muscles have more capacity on that inhale. And the exhale, the lengthening, you work those abdominals a little bit more to really filter out what you don't need. With each lengthening exhale, feel the thighs drop towards the earth. With each inhale, feel the crown of the head reaching towards the sky, the shoulder blades roll down the back. Those shoulders that might be crunched up towards the ears just roll down with each exhale. And the flurry of thoughts starts to slow down. Your focus is sharpened by the breath, and you can come into a deep intentional practice. On your next exhale, flutter the eyes open. And we're going to come and lengthen out in a recline and use a belt right away, the belt or the strap, to get our hamstrings open and our hips so that we can do some standing poses more comfortably later on. So come to your back with the soles of the feet on the floor to begin with, just to allow yourself easily to come down to the mat. And the back of the skulls on the mat. Notice the alignment as you lie down, always in the reclined position. Notice that the back of the skull is aligned with the sacrum at the bottom of the spine. And then take the legs out long. So let's get long to begin with, noticing the feet. You can stand on an imaginary surface with your feet, and then take the arms next to the ears, reaching through the fingertips, inhaling into that all the way down to the toes. Invite the air in. 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6 counts, hold for 2. So allowing that extra lengthening on the inhale through the entire length of the body, feeling everything long, beautiful. Exhale, great, and then bring the arms down next to the body, bend the knees, and take a hold of the strap. We're gonna inhale the right knee towards the face, and we're gonna take the strap around the ball of the foot, the right foot, and then we're gonna raise up long with that lengthened right foot, right leg up towards the sky. From here, make sure that you take, if you don't do deep hip flexion here, perhaps you'll have disc issues or something like that, you can take this leg at a diagonal. So only do the flexion as is comfortable for your body. But let's look up at those toes, take the strap in 2 hands, and place the sacrum again on the mat. So you impress it into the mat, and you notice that that will accentuate that natural curve in the lower back that we warmed up earlier. Just have a look at those toes, feel the sensation on the back of the right leg. And inhale as you bend the knee towards the chest and then straighten. So we'll take 4 to 5 bends and straightens here to warm up the hamstrings. Inhaling as you bend, exhaling as you reach the heel towards the sky. And noticing as you do this that your hip socket is getting a nice glide in that right hip. One more bend and straighten. Awesome. And now we're going to take the straps, both of those sides of the strap in the right hand. And then we're going to open up to the right. So open up that leg to the right. And you don't want it to hang out in space. Rather, if it's hanging out in space, which is something might happen, you can step strong through the strap. So you've got some closure for the stretch. Allow the shoulders to relax onto the mat as the face relaxes as well. Notice that this was opening the inner thigh and the right hip. You can even take your left knee and open that out to the side if that's comfortable for you. Giving this back of the legs and the hip flexors some oxygen, filtering out any tension. Let's take the left foot to the floor again, knee to the sky, and we'll take that right foot back up towards the ceiling. And then take the strap and guide the foot across the midline of the body. And that's towards the left hip bone. Notice maybe your right hip wants to come up off the floor. We're not ready for that yet, so keep both hips planted on the mat. And then slide that heel over towards the left hip. And breathe. Hear the rhythm of the breath. Feed this stretch with some nice deep breaths. Releasing with each exhale. Bring the right leg back to neutral, reaching through the heel, getting long through that leg. And then take your left leg along the floor and straighten it out if you can. Take the left hand to the top of the left thigh. Maybe your thigh is lifting up off the mat, so try to give it a press downward and really expand through that side, through the back of the right leg, so you're really keeping that hip grounded on the left. And then bend the left knee again and bring the sole of the left foot to the floor. And we're gonna roll over onto our left side with the strap on the right foot. The right foot will come down to the floor. And you can see if you can nudge your back, the left knee towards the back of the mat. Take the strap, both sides, in the left hand. Press through that foot, the ball of the foot. Take your right hand to your heart and feel that elbow pointing towards the sky. Great. Inhale. Invite the air in. Exhale. Let's start to turn the ribs over to the right and that elbow. Then the shoulders. You can drop the elbow and open it up to a T-arm over on the right side. And you can even gaze over your right fingertips. So when we inhale, we're going to lengthen out the torso towards the crown of the head. And as we exhale, feel the earth behind in the back of the lungs. This is early in the practice, so we don't want to force anything ever. But if you find that your fingertips on the right side can find the left toes, you can get a thigh stretch here. Bending that left knee. But again, this is just warming up, so no expectations here. Release that left foot if you have it in your hand. Come back to that strap with both hands, bend the left knee, and then come back up with a beautifully warmed up hamstring on the right side. Release the left, release the strap, and release the right foot. And lengthen out both legs on the mat. Close the eyes and just check in. Notice the sensational difference between your right and your left. Inhale, bend both knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Inhale the left knee towards the chest. And then we'll take that strap around the ball of the left foot and reach up towards the sky or to a diagonal line with your left leg. Admire your toes, spread them all out. That really gets some channels opening in the connective tissues when we try to open the toes. Maybe there's some stuck ones. Give them some tension and intention. And then bend your left knee towards your chest on an inhale. Exhale nice and long and lift the heel up and reach through the heel and bend and straighten a few more times just to warm up this left hamstring. Bend and straighten. Great, and then we're going to take that strap into the left hand, so both sides of the strap will come into the left hand. And then we can open up the leg over to your left. So really opening it up like a big door and pressing through the strap. Use that leverage of the strap to really keep this in a connected position, that foot. And then you can take your right knee and open that up to the side if you like to counterbalance. Of course, keep noticing your breath and the quality of the breath along the way. Bring the right foot down, put it to the floor again, and we'll guide that foot back up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take the strap and guide the left foot across the midline of the body towards the right hip bone. Inhale, 4 counts. Pause for 2. Exhale for 6 counts. And then you might feel sensation along the side of the leg. Pinching is not a good thing, but if it's just extra sensational, that's okay. Just some connective tissues, getting a new message to open up. That's cool. That's wonderful. Sigh that out and then take the foot towards the sky again. And we're going to take hold of the strap, take the right foot, press it into the mat and come over onto your right side. And the foot will come down, the left foot will come down to earth, pressing again through that strap. You can nudge that right knee back towards the back part of the mat. Hold the strap in your right hand, take the left hand to the heart, elbow to the sky. Get long through that inhale, and on an exhale, feel the earth beneath you, and then turn the ribs to the left. Open up the left hand out into a T position, look over the left fingertips. Breathing into the hips, into the hamstrings. If you want to grab the toes of the right foot with your left hand, you can get an early quad stretch here, but you don't have to overstrive at any point in the practice. Noticing the backs of the lungs. There's a whole network back there that we can often ignore that allows us great capacity to bring in fresh breath and exhale and filter out what we don't need out of those lungs. Release that foot of the right foot if you've got it, and then bring back to a reclined position, admiring those left toes again, reaching through the heel, and then bending the knee and releasing the strap, placing that off to the side. You can also press onto that right thigh as well. Sorry, I forgot a little reminder there that the right thigh might want to pop up when you're up and you have your extended position with the left leg. So always, that's a nice little reminder to press the thigh. Okay, so now we're going to take rolling onto the right side and come up to a side sit. You want to get that blanket again for your leverage there. Place it towards the back of the mat. We're going to fold the right knee in front and the left leg will be folded to the side. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can come to cross-legged, whatever works for you. But let's take those tented fingertips next to the body. And inhale, grow long. Exhale, notice, closing the eyes, which sits bone is lower than the other. In my case, it's on the right side. So let's take that blanket fold and put it underneath that sits bone and not the other one. So now my hip bones feel more even. So try that out, get comfortable. Always, if this is not working for your knees, you can take another position. Kneeling, whatever you wish. Inhale, use the fingertips as our extra tripod effect to grow taller through the crown of the head. Inhale, exhale, let's look over the right shoulder as we drop the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale. And then inhale through center. Exhale, look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center, look up at the sky, feeling as if there was a hand behind your heart, helping you really open up that collarbone space as you look up. And then come back to neutral and look down with your exhale. Look down at the heart. Beautiful. Noticing that stretch in the back of the neck. Again, awareness of the back body with our breath. Great. And bring that head back up to neutral. So we'll take a side bend that's the whole side, but also the ear towards the shoulder. So we're going to walk the right fingertips out. If you want to put a block beside you on the right side, you can do that. We'll walk the fingertips out to the right, As the right ear drops towards the right shoulder, release the left fingertips, and we're coming into a long side bend. You can take your hand down on the mat, the forearm to a block, or to the mat, and just notice the softening of the right ear towards the right shoulder. Take the left arm up to the sky, nice and long. Inhale, feel that body. See if you can kind of keep those sits bones grounded as you take the side bend, and then reach the left arm next to the left ear. Fill the left rib cage with the air, and then exhale, release down to the earth. Sweep the left arm up towards the sky, floating back up with your inhale. Touch down with your left fingertips. We'll take a counter stretch here. Left ear toward left shoulder. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. We won't go quite as far here. Just a counter. Wait. And back up to center. And now in the middle, we're going to come through the middle. So we'll have to open up the left leg long and straight to the side, diagonal. And then help the right thigh as you open up into a wide-legged forward bend. You'll want to sit up on the edge of that blanket, so adjust yourself. Take your time. Take the sits bones. So I'm up on the edge of that blanket and I got the nice curve in the lower back. Take the fingertips beside you so you can really feel the length. There's more space in your vertebrae, perhaps between each vertebra as you reach the crown of the head towards the sky. You really might notice already you're taller. And then we'll take the fingertips in front of the body. And I want you to hinge from the hips, so not hunching forward, but feel that opening through the heart as the fingertips walk in front of you. Now, if this is enough flexion for you, just from this tall space, that's fine too. We're just taking a trip through the center before we go to the other side. Walk the fingertips out, keep the shoulders rolling away from the ears, and the heart is your guide. As you hinge forward, noticing the opening and pressing through the feet. You can point and flex the feet just to get that back of the legs open. Following our heart here, not our shoulders. Exhale, release a little bit more. And then walk the fingertips back up to a nice tall sit. And take the fingertips beside you with that nice core strength that you've been sending breath to. You're going to bend the knee. You're going to come into the other side sit. So we're going to bend the left knee in front, right knee on the side. Now check in, take the fingertips beside you, close the eyes, and which sits bone is on the lower position. You can check that and fix that with the blanket underneath that lower sits bone. Now grow tall with your even sits bones anchored. And then we'll look over the left shoulder with an exhale. Inhale through center, look over the right shoulder. Back to center, looking up at the beautiful sky. Even if it has clouds, it's beautiful. And then come back down, look down at your heart. And then look up toward the sky, toward the screen. And then we'll walk our fingertips over to the left for a nice long side bend. As you do this, feel the left ear is softening towards the left shoulder. And then bring the forearm or just the hand down to the mat or the block. Already noticing the ribs have a little more space on that right side. Inhale the right arm to the sky. Grab a cloud and then reach your right arm next to the right ear. Inhale, see if you can get that length through the spine and flexibility, and an exhale to drop down a little more. Inhale, sweep the arm up towards the sky, and we'll take our counter stretch, walking with right fingertips out, hand down, lift the left arm towards the sky, soften the right ear to the right shoulder. Luxuriate here through that side body. Inhale the left arm up towards the sky. Exhale, notice you've made a difference already in the body. We're taking the cat-cow or all fours pose next. So let's take the blanket and adjust it. Bring it to about 3/4 of the way down the mat. Cushion your knees. And have your block handy if you have one. It's a good time to have it handy when we move to standing. So come with the wrists below the shoulders, the knees below the hips. And if you'd like to take the hands out a little bit in front of you to save your wrists a little pressure, you can do that too. But we're going to open up those fingertips like stars and then point the index finger towards the top of the mat. Inhale, exhale, and then curl the tailbone under. Lift the spine towards the sky and drop the head and look at the knees. Exhaling, squeeze that air out with the navel toning towards the spine. We're using our abdominals here to tone and get the air out. Inhale, lift the tailbone towards the sky. Notice the navel drops towards the earth. Shoulder blades squeeze together, and then look up, cow position. And then come back to a neutral spine so that you still have a nice curve in the lower back. Bring the hands forward an inch or two, and then slide the hips forward into knee plank. So knee plank is one long line of the spine. You're pointing with your tailbone towards the back of the mat. Flip the toes, flip the feet so that the tops of the feet are on the mat. Okay, so you're really relying on the shoulder strength. So you want to take an imaginary rolled up magazine under your armpit and squeeze it towards the rib cage. Great. And now reach through the crown of the head, nice and long, glutes engaged. Don't forget, big muscles supporting you. Tone the navel towards the spine. And then we'll take tiny little lizard push-ups so you can get your triceps toned here, bending the elbows towards the ribs. Slightly bringing that strength down and then pushing back up. And then come down again, inhale into that baby push-up, come back. And then one more. And press through the hands, back up, slide the hips back, lengthen out the body. In child's pose, briefly, put your forehead on the mat. Inhale into the back of those lungs. Notice the traveling breath up the back of the body, all the way to the tailbone, and exhale out up the spine. Inhale through cat pose. So tuck that tailbone as you come upward into all fours. And we're going to open up our hips again here. Inhale, we'll take the right knee forward towards the right elbow, and the right foot is going to come to the outside of the right hand. So you can guide that ankle upward, just step forward. You don't want to slide it, just step forward. Take the right hand to the inside of the right foot. And you want to make sure that that right knee is tracking behind the toes, never to the right or the left. Your base here is your right foot and your left shin. So bring your mind's eye to the right foot and the left shin. And then take your hands below you or fingertips, whatever works for you. Pull them back towards the back of the mat. Feel the length in the spine. And see if you can bring your right hip back towards the back of the mat a little bit to even out your hip bones. We're opening up that right hip. In your mind's eye, notice the straight line from the crown of the head all the way to the bottom of the spine. And now we're going to take that spine on a diagonal. Walk the hands out to the left slightly and take your spine to a diagonal direction with your hands, and your shin is going to echo that diagonal. If you have any confusion, you can look up at me. It's a very subtle movement to open up the right hip. The knee on the right side stays aligned with the toes. So you're keeping that alignment, so you don't want to overstretch here. If it's feeling like too much, come back to the beginning. And now take those hands, pull them back towards the back of the mat, lengthen out, feel the communication with your right hip there. Keeping everything in alignment, and then walk the hands back towards that right foot, adjust the shin, and then sweep that right knee back into all fours. Inhale, exhale, take a neutral spine, and then inhale again. We'll take the left knee towards the left elbow, and then the left foot on the outside of the left hand. Take your time getting there. There's no rush here. And then so we've got the left knee tracking to the toes, to the middle toes and behind the toes. In your mind's eye, take a trip to the bottom of your left foot and your right shin and feel the magnetizing energy between those points so you've got a strong foundation, right? The foot and the back shin. And pull the hands towards the back of the mat. Relax your face, everything just nice and calm. And then notice the line of the spine, so your crown of the head all the way to the bottom of the spine. Celebrate that lovely spine, and then take it on a diagonal trip, taking the hands over to the right, keeping the left knee stable. You're going to take a diagonal, and your shin is going to echo that diagonal. So you can adjust the shin over to the diagonal. And then your head is between those hands, like above the hand. Reach long through your spine. Communicate with that left hip. Maybe it's trying to lift up or back or forward. See if you can even it out a little bit. And then walk the hands back to center, adjust the back shin. And then draw the left knee back into place, slide those hips back, and just reach forward with your fingertips like a cat scratching the rug. Take the forehead to the mat. Inhaling, lengthening, reaching through the fingertips. Exhaling, feel that earth beneath you. Great job setting our base for our standing sequence. Come back up to all fours. If you want to practice with a block, you can take that block, especially if it's a lightweight block, between your thighs. And in your all fours, notice that we've got that extra toning of the inner thighs. That stabilizes the body, the whole torso and the lower abs, if you got the inner thighs involved too. Curl the back toes under. And then lift the knees off the mat while holding onto the block. And bring the hips in a diagonal up behind you, sits bones pointing towards that upper diagonal. And we're kind of coming toward a downward dog while keeping the knees bent. Reaching long through the arms. Again, make sure you're not over efforting here. Make this, you can always just stay in all fours. Walk the hands back towards the toes. So we're actually coming to the back of the mat, hanging the head down, squeezing that block. And we're looking at the world upside down here, releasing the neck. And then we're gonna come up to chair. So I want you to take a hold, keep a hold of that block as you sit the sits bones back behind you in an imaginary chair waiting for you. And then take the fingertips and trace beside the feet. Sweep the arms back behind you. So you're already going to feel things waking up here. Press through the feet, keep the knees behind the toes, and we're coming towards chair pose. So you've got the arms up behind you like so. Inhale, and we're going to exhale and sweep the arms down and then up next to the ears. Take the ribs away from the thighs, and here we are in chair pose. Great. Get long through that spine. Tone the navel towards the spine. So really get those lower abs engaged. Squeeze the block. It kind of helps here if you squeeze the block. And then stand strong through the feet, up toward the standing position. Nice job toning there. Take the block, put it aside. And move that blanket over. And if you want to use a chair for balance here, I'm going to take this chair and model that by putting it at the very top of my mat. But if not, you can take a block and place it at the left side, the top of the mat. And we're going to do a standing forward. We're doing pyramid pose. And we're going to do a twisted triangle. But I want you to be careful here, and I'll guide you and give you some alternatives in case you have some issues with your back. So take either the block here or the chair. All right, stand at the back of your mat. And we're going to take a nice trip forward with our right foot. So first establish your beautiful footprint below you. Stand strong. Notice the glutes are engaged to support that tower rising up towards the sky. Step forward with your right foot towards the top of the mat on the right side. So we're in a pretty wide stance here towards the edges of the mat. And we're going to adjust that back foot so that it's about 30 or 45 degree angle. Take your hands to the hips and see if you can point those hips forward towards the top of the mat so they're not crooked. So we did a lot of work on the hips. So bring your mind's eye there and even them out. Pressing through the feet and magnetizing them together will bring you into a center point. So first we're going to move just simply into our familiar warrior one. Inhale, take the hands to the hips and grow long through the spine. Exhale, bend the front knee towards the middle two toes, and your pelvis is going to come down towards the earth. So you may want to step back to bring yourself into a deeper flexion of that front knee. So any confusion, just look up here. I'm coming toward warrior one. Inhale, and then grow tall and exhale, drop the hands first. So you feel that earth connection. Inhale, reach the arms towards the sky. Really reach up through the side bodies and bring the hands together in prayer position. Arms are next to the ears. Where are your feet? Connect them together. Look up at your hands. Salute the sky. And then look forward. Drop the hands to the hips and straighten out the front knee. So we're going to straighten the leg. I want to adjust your feet a little bit. So we're coming towards our pyramid pose. If you have issues with your lower discs, I want you not to go into really super deep flexion. I want you to stand diagonal or even do this series in a vertical spine is fine as well. You'll still get benefits there. So take the hands to the hips, and like we did on Tuesday, we're going to take the right hand to the top of the right thigh, and the fingertips are going to move in a direction towards the inner thigh. And what you're doing is guiding your leg to an internal rotation, so we have a safe flexion forward towards that chair. Take the left arm up towards the sky. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, hinging at that right hip. You can just take your hand there and remind yourself to go in with that right leg. Don't lock the knee. Reach long and hinge with your left arm. And then reach out towards either a chair, the end of the top of the chair, the seat of the chair, or the block. And reach long through the crown of the head. And on your exhale, find your feet. And if you are modifying, just stay diagonal or stay up and really just working your feet and your hips will still be some work. Great. So now, keeping that left hand solid on the block or the chair, reaching long, take your right hand and place it on your sacrum. So your elbow will come towards the sky, and we're moving towards revolved triangle. Inhale, grow long through the spine. Exhale, do the twist. Begin to twist your rib cage to the right while holding onto that sacrum and noticing that it just stays steady. So we're turning to the right, rotating the spine. And then maybe bring the heart over to the right and look over to the right. Again, if you're standing, I'll do this modification, which is I'm just reaching long, and then I'm looking over towards the right. Still a nice twist here. But if you are in the lower extension, you can press through those feet, scissor the legs together, and notice as if there was a block to your inner thighs. Exhale, come back down, look at the floor, look at your toes. Extend that left arm again with the strength of your foundation. Come back up in an inhale to standing. Left arm comes down. And you can step back or just easily get yourself back to the bottom of the mat. Good job. Great. Now we're going to come to the other side. So take the block and put it on the right side of the mat. We can take our time pacing this because this is a little bit, I haven't done the revolved triangle a lot, so taking time through the steps. Inhale into mountain pose. Exhale, step forward with the left foot. Establish the feet. The left toes are pointing forward and the back right foot is angled at about 30 to 45 degrees. Hands on the hips, keep them forward. Establish the feet. Take the right arm next to the ear. Oh wait, we gotta do it, sorry. Inhale. Hands to, exhale, hands to the hips, and then come down into warrior one. Bend the left knee. Inhale the arms next to the ears. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Press into a prayer position. And then look up at the hands, salute the sky. Look forward, sweep the arms back to the hips, straighten the front leg. And hips even forward, connection through the feet. Inhale, the right arm up next to the ear. Hinging at the left hip, take the hand to the top of the thigh. Encourage that leg to inwardly rotate as you reach towards your props. Support that right hand comes down on the block or the chair, reaching long. Great job. This is pyramid pose. Again, come up to vertical if that's uncomfortable for anyone. And then we're going to take the left hand to the sacrum. So notice you're reaching long through the sacrum, through the spine as the sacrum as your base, and then turn the ribs on an exhale over to the left. And then the heart, and then the gaze. This is a challenging pose, everyone, so don't force yourself into it. Modify, modify, modify. Scissor the legs if you're in this extension, and then take the left arm up to the sky. Broadening through your collarbones. Great. Exhale. Bring that left hand down to a base. Right arm long next to the ear. Inhale. Back up to standing. And step that foot back, just easing through stepping back to the bottom of the mat. Shake it out. Nice job. Move the chair. I know that's a challenging pose. I feel grateful that everybody is modifying as needed and trying it. Come to the bottom of the mat. Sweep the arms up to the sky. And then swan dive yourself down, hinging at the hips that are now super open. Come down to earth. Find the earth with your fingertips, even if you need to bend the knees. And then we're going to walk our hands out into a downward dog. So keep the knees bent as you walk those hands out towards the top of the mat. And then long through the arms, get on your tippy toes. And then press through the hands, reach long through the spine, and see if you can bring the heels down to the earth symmetrically. And feel those hamstrings again. Back body. Inhale. Exhale, notice the back body again, getting so much attention today. And then bring the hips forward, bend the knees, bring the knees down to the mat. Nice. And then we'll roll over on, or get yourself over to our reclined position. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. Inhale. Exhale, just do a nice body scan in, sending energy to all the places of tension. Stand strong through the feet and keep them at hip width apart. And lift the hips up towards the sky. We'll just do a nice bridge to counter stretch here. Keep the knees nice and aligned with the toes, and then take the hands behind the back, clasp them. Press through the shoulders behind you on the mat, lifting the heart up towards the chin, into this back bend. Long exhale. Inhale, release the hands. Exhale, snake that spine down to the earth. Beautiful. And then we'll take a nice, easy twist as we roll over onto the left side with the knees together. Pay attention to keeping your knees together in the twist so that they don't try to separate, and that's keeping your SI joint and the pelvis nice and stable. Take the hands together in front of you, along the floor, and then take the right hand to the heart, elbow to the sky. And then we'll take that familiar twist over to the right, the ribs first, the shoulders. Open the arms to a T. Gaze over your right fingertips. Have your knees try to pull away from each other. See if you can keep them even. Press through your left arm. Inhale and exhale. See if the spine will twist a little bit more, but try not to use too much force, just encouragement. With twists, it helps to have a sense of melting towards the earth below you so that everything releases. And as if there were a book, closing a book, we'll take the right arm up towards the sky. And close this twist on this side. Keep the knees together. Engage that lower core and the whole middle core as well as you come over onto the other side, onto your back, and then onto your right side. We'll bring the palms together. Inhale, take the left hand to the heart, elbow to the sky. And then turn the ribs to the left. Open up the left hand, arm nice and long. Feel that length from each fingertip on the left and right side. If you press into the right arm, you might get a little more lift on an inhale and an exhale, deeper twist. This is the mid and upper back here. Knees together. Find your breath. Find that 4-2-6 rhythm. And then let's close the book by sweeping the left arm up towards the sky, bringing the palms together. And then rolling over onto the back. Feel free to roll up. We're coming into our active rest. So you can set yourself up with a lovely blanket roll under your neck so that you don't have to work so hard there. It's really lovely feeling to have the neck supported, or roll up a blanket under your knees. Set yourself up for this resting pose because it's a way of everything that's been percolating, all your cells moving, all of this new pathways can now absorb and settle into the body. Very important pose, even if you just spend a few moments here. So take that head, lay yourself out on the mat, drape yourself down, shimmy the shoulders underneath you. You can even grab the sides of your mat and then pull downward towards the bottom of the mat. And that will take your skin and just take that towards the top of the mat on the upper back, and allowing you to go even deeper as you open the palms towards the sky. Allow the feet to roll out to the side. A lot of us have not gotten to go to our massages and body work during a lot of the lockdowns. Allow this to be a little trip to your own spa experience. Just a few moments in a place of complete relaxation without a to-do list, only a to-be list. We'll put on some music so you can connect again with the breath and have some rhythm in the background while you connect with that breath. Screen. Begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bend the knees. Roll over onto your right side. Gently bring yourself back up to a seated position, hands at the heart, in prayer position. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today. Namaste.